Today we have a huge mod day ahead of us. I got a trunk full of parts from 034 Motorsport, and bruh. I wonder how long he was in there. Anyway, I got a trunk full of mods. Oliver at Warhammer Motorsport is gonna hook me up. Let's get started.
You're watching Midlife Mods.
You give me tunnel vision. I got that tunnel vision. You give me tunnel vision.
All right, we got a lot of mods laid out here. I'm really excited about. But why are we doing all of these mods all at once? Well, I'm getting the car prepped for the Global Time Attack World Finals in November at Buttonwillow Raceway. I'm gonna be entering the street class in this car, and I cannot wait for that experience. Thank you to Warhammer Motorsport for making this possible, and 034 Motorsport for supplying the parts. And I'd also like to thank the sponsor of this video, author Michael Scott Earl. Michael Scott Earl has authored a variety of best-selling men's fantasy sci-fi novels, and most recently released book 10 in his Tamer, King of Dinosaurs series. I just finished book 9 in this series, and trust me when I say it's full of action, adventure, humor, and hot alien babes. And if you don't have time to read because you're always so busy driving, like me, that's okay. You can get all his books in audio format, and they are performed by some of the best actors in the industry. So head to michaelscottearl.com today and check out his Tamer, King of Dinosaurs series before they go extinct. I have a big brake kit, some replacement rotors on the back, upper control arms that are adjustable for the track. I'm gonna be putting on the 034 Motorsport lowering springs and getting rid of those harsh H&R lowering springs. And while we're here, we're gonna be doing the ResX delete for the front. I also have shock mounts. I have rear differential inserts. Along with the big brake kit comes these massive rotors here, new brake lines, and I'm gonna show you the nickel calipers and red pads. They're beautiful. I'm gonna show you those in just a second. All right, guys, the calipers just arrived. Woo! Some nice packaging. Look at this. It's beautiful. They're really light. Much lighter than I thought they would be. Because we're doing so many mods today, I'm gonna have to cut through them pretty quickly and just explain what we're doing. We don't have enough time to go through full installation details on all of these parts. So the first thing that we're doing is pulling off the old calipers, brake lines, rotors, and getting them ready for the front big brake kit. Here Oliver's cleaning off any rust that might be remaining, just to make sure we don't have any of that residue for the new parts. Now we're going to be replacing the upper control arms as well as the front sway bar end links. You see he's loosening the knuckle and the sway bar end links. Now this is the old sway bar end link. It's just this piece of plastic. We got to remove the springs as well because we're going to put the 034 Motorsport lowering springs on. This is one of the old upper control arms that we're replacing. All right, so he got the strut and the springs off. We got the upper control arms off, and we got the sway bar end links off. So everything's ready to go for the new parts. You can see here the new springs and the old springs stacked side by side. You can see the 034 springs on the left have a tighter coil pattern. That's gonna be a little bit of a better ride, but not quite as low. Now the springs are back onto the shock. And by the way, these springs are specifically engineered for the OEM Audi shocks. All right, so these are the upper control arms from 034 Motorsport, which are adjustable. The quality looks so much better. And the kit comes with everything that you need for installation and assembly, including Loctite and the rubber booty that goes over the knuckle. So the control arms have been torqued, the springs are on the struts,
We just need the front sway bar end links, and we are ready to put everything back on. So let's put together these sway bar end links, which look so much better than the OEM sway bar end links. Look at these. The 034 quality is just 10 times better. These are adjustable as well and have some nice branding on them. Look at them side by side. There's just no comparison. While Oliver was working on the front sway bar end links and control arms, I started preparing the brake calipers, which includes putting on the brackets.
This is how big the rotor is. I have a pretty big head. This is how big the rotor is.
Looks pretty, don't it?
Now these are the Street Sport brake pads that come with the kit, and what we're adhering to the back of the pad is this optional titanium brake shim. Now these are designed to help block heat from radiating throughout the brake system.
Only at Midlife Mods. First in the world. Here we go. Look at that. That is beautiful.
I already had stainless steel brake lines on my car, but the big brake kit comes with new stainless steel brake lines that are specifically designed for this kit.
All right, guys, it's day 2 of prep for the Global Time Attack World Finals at Buttonwillow Raceway. By the way, if you have any race prep needs or track assistance, hit up Warhammer Motorsport if you're in Southern California. They'll take care of all of your race prep or track day needs. We got a lot done yesterday. This is day 2. We're on the rear rotors now, replacing the rotors and the pads. The cool thing about these 034 Motorsport rotors is they're 2-piece. So you just have to order the replacement ring here and use the same hat here, and they come with replacement bolts. So I put these on last night at home, brought them in, Oliver's mounting them now, and we're putting on some new pads. Today we're gonna be working on the exhaust. We're gonna be doing the rear differential mounts today. And what else? We're gonna be doing the rear springs. We did all the front yesterday. We're going to be doing the rear springs today. We're also going to be putting in a new shock mount up here from 034 Motorsport. And that might be it. All right, so day 2 begins.
We got the rear differential supported now because we're going to be putting in these inserts. So you got to lower the differential a little bit to get access to these bolts that you see Oliver loosening now. And one of the bolts you need to replace with a new bolt. So I got this from my local Audi dealership. And you do want to lube up the inserts a little bit just to make the insertion sorry, just so you can make the insertion of the mounts a little bit easier.
Transfer and slop in the diff. So the power delivery to the rear should get there just that little bit quicker.
Rear differential inserts are in. Now we're moving on to the rear lowering springs and the rear shock mounts. I'm not going to show the whole process because we already kind of covered it up front, but as you would expect with the 034 Motorsport parts, the quality is much better than OEM. That's the new 034 shock mount sitting pretty, and the new springs going in. was time to move on to the Res X Delete. It's always fun to cut into your exhaust. Now this is where the new exhaust is going to be placed. You got the nice 034 branding looking pretty, and this is a pretty basic installation. You cut out the old section, you pop in the new section that doesn't have the resonators, and then you reattach the exhaust, which I didn't show. But here are the new springs seated nicely. All right, so we got everything installed. There's that branding again, looking pretty. Now, one of the requirements for this global time attack is you have to have a front tow hitch, but I didn't know you could add a front tow hitch to the B9.5 S4. So I called Sean at 034 Motorsport and he said, it's there. You just have to cut through the foam that's in front of the crash bar. So Oliver did that and boom, we got a front tow hitch on a B9.5 S4. Then it was time to bleed the brakes. And then we're all set.
Okay, the brakes have been bled. That means the wheels are gonna go back on.
How fun was bleeding the brakes?
Bleeding the brakes was amazing. It was like a 4-hour process.
Okay,
a lot
don't
of-
lie to the people.
It wasn't 4
It
hours.
was 3.5.
It was very tedious. It involved a lot of sucking and pumping. And finally the brakes feel good. Wheels are gonna go back on, and then we're gonna bring it down and we're gonna see how the new exhaust sounds. It's off the lift. We're about to start it up. Let's see the sound difference with the Res X Delete. Here we go.
All right, so that's it. We brought the car off the lift and put the wheels back on, and here's how the nickel calipers look on the car. What do you guys think?
The car has had about 24 hours to settle on the new springs, so I'm hoping they're a little bit closer to their final ride height. Right off the bat, I can tell you that the ride comfort is 1,000 times better than those H&R Sport lowering springs. I mean, those things were really low, which looked cool. The stance was nice on the car, but the ride comfort was terrible. Another thing that I'm evaluating is the sound of the Res X Delete. It is a little bit louder, but not obnoxious enough to upset all of your neighbors. And then when you put it back in drive mode, it's still really quiet and just subdued. You don't really hear anything, but keeping it in sport, which is what I usually do, sounds just fine. It's just enough of that additional exhaust note that I was looking for. Now to the brakes. I was running track pads full time on my last rotors, and that just destroyed my rotors in a very short period of time. If you're mostly doing daily driving, I wouldn't recommend running track pads all the time. So now with these new 8-piston calipers, I'm running street pads at the moment, and they're much more comfortable, much more predictable, like you would expect a street brake pad to feel like. But if you need to hit the brakes hard, you can definitely feel those 8-piston calipers kicking in. I can't wait to see how this feels with the track pads on, and on the track, I think is gonna be the true test for these 8-piston calipers. Overall, I'm much happier with the total setup on the car. I'm much happier with the 034 springs. I really like the exhaust notes that I'm getting with this Res X Delete, and the brake calipers not only look beautiful, but they perform well too. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can see how I perform at Global Time Attack World Finals at Buttonwillow Raceway. Thank you for watching Midlife Mods.